Before the Wingate test, bike fit, example is handlebar and saddle height, will be checked, as well as resistance will be set up on the equipped basket of a Monarch cycle ergometer based on subject's sex and body mass in kilogram. For men, multiply their body mass in kilogram by 0.085 kilogram or 8.5% of body mass to get their resistance load. For women, multiply by 0.075 kilogram or 7.5% of body mass. All subjects will be instructed to pedal as fast as they can in 30 seconds and remain sitting on the saddle throughout the test. At the beginning of the Wingate muscular power test, the weighted basket automatically drops when subject cadence reaches 110 rpm. The actual duration of all-out cycling for the Wingate test is 30 seconds. So data collection with the Monarch Wingate software. So at 5 seconds, 129, and at 10 seconds, 112, and at 15 seconds, 100, and 20 seconds, 87, and 25 seconds, 83 rpm, and last 30 seconds, 76. Our subject is a female softball player, 67 kg. So 70.5% of her body mass is 5.0 kg. And based on our virtual lab, at 5th second is 129 rpm, at 10 second 112, and 15th second is 100, 20th 87, 25th is 83, and 30th is 76 rpm. So to calculate peak power in unit of watt, the equation watt equal kilogram multiply 6 multiply rpm divided by 6.118 is used, whereby the highest number of revolution among the 5-second interval is multiplied by the first kilo setting. This is then multiplied by 6, the distance in meter that the Monarch will travel for each pedal revolution, and then divided by 6.118. So her peak RPM was 129 at 5th second. So absolute peak power watt equal 5.0, this is her kilo Z, multiply 6, this 6 is constant for Monarch bike, and multiply 129, that is peak RPM, divided by 6.118 equal 632.6 watt. And this Wingate score may also be expressed in relative term by dividing it by body mass. So absolute peak power 632.6 can be divided by body mass 67. So equal is 9.4 watts per kilogram. This is relative peak power. To calculate absolute and relative mean power, average power, just use mean RPM. So we can add all 6 RPM. We can add all 6 RPM and divide by 6. So in this case, mean RPM equal 97.8. So put the mean RPM to the equation. So absolute mean power equal 479.6 watts and relative peak power equal 7.2 watts per kilogram. Percent decrement or fatigue index can also be calculated, which use the calculate peak power and the lowest power from each of the 5 seconds, or peak RPM and the lowest RPM from each of the 5 seconds. The equation for calculating the fatigue index is open bracket peak power minus lowest power closed bracket divided by peak power multiply 100, or open bracket peak RPM minus lowest RPM closed bracket divided by peak RPM multiply 100. In this case, peak RPM equal 129 and lowest RPM equal 76. And fatigue index equal open bracket 129 minus 76 close bracket and divided by 129 and multiply 100 equal is 41.1%. And important thing is this case peak RPM is 129 at 5 seconds, but sometimes is endurance athlete their peak RPM sometimes you can see at 10 seconds, not at 5 seconds. So you should be careful. Our case at 5 seconds, no problem. But sometimes, right, some athlete, their peak power is around 10 seconds. That case, you should be careful. Thank you.